and did it voluntarily by the 9. Oh, the thing was, I love speaking languages and learning spoken languages, but it's the written bits they make you do that I hate with passion. But it also means that I lose languages as quick as I pick them up, so... For a little bit, I was pretty good at German. That's gone. Now I just swear in German occasionally. Exo says they learnt Spanish in school. It's interesting, like, location plus, like, you know, years that you grew up seem to denote. Like, I did mandatory French at school. I cannot remember any of it. Pretty much the only French that I can remember is from an Eddie Izzard skit about the cat being under the table. Oh, okay. So Lecter was just informing us that they've been to the DMV twice, dyed their hair, done a side shave, and they're going to start painting for a Thomas the Tank Engine cosplay, question mark. Also grocery shopping. Why are they productive? Squadrons is down for maintenance. No spaceships. Yes, EXO. Fall Guys Season 2 rolled out. Thick Bonkers has been deployed. Fiona woke me up by being like, I got a wizard's hat. Fiona's saying they barely remember any French they took, or Russian, but did retain a little of Mandarin Chinese. Okay. I kept meaning that I was going to fucking... Back when Russia was going to be the next big games territory, I was like, I should probably learn to at least speak it conversationally. Oh yeah, and Third Sheep, yeah, all the French that I've learned is gone. Years of enforced schooling. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the language's way. Lecter used to be fluent in Swahili? Damn, that's cool. Barney Bailey, what? Oh, coming in. So friends, let's chat. Let's banter. Let's hang on out. If you want to pour yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, you can do it anywhere. We were going to be playing a game called Ever Forward, and I do want to plug it because it looks feckin' good, and I've legit been saving this. I think I mentioned to you all that I managed to get some proper voice acting work, and it looks like I'm going to be doing all of it this afternoon. So, my day went from being to being... I'm like, seriously, when you see this title, you can see why I want to cover it. Heartfelt indie, like, arty puzzle platformer with gorgeous visuals. Like, that's feckin' grand. Oh, that's cool. EXO was saying, I remember when I was in Ghana, and there was this one dude who worked at a shop where he spoke French. And I don't know how, but everyone looked at me shocked when I just had a fluent conversation with this dude in French. That's the fun part about being, like, multilingual, is just being able to bust it out at that one moment. It's the ninja secret move of social interactions, where people are suddenly like, wait, hang on, what? Totally worth it. But yeah, I'm just one of those mother hubbards that I can pick up a language by ear real quick, but if I'm not using it, it's gone. Haha, Deus! You fucking legend. Well, Deus, I thought I'd wait till everybody gets in. Like, I don't know if you want me to show them the first cut or if it made me laugh. Sheep saying they remember barely being able to talk to the guys in the kebab shop in Paris. I really appreciate the effort. That's really cool. Learning German mostly just came from knowing that I was doing Gamescom, and you know, my Britishness shining through. I wanted to be able to make sure I could say thank you to everybody. That was weirdly my motivation. casual saying they used to be passport at Spanish even though they had a teacher the last year of high school. Someone told me on the one hand I had to improve now, but I was good enough to pull it off. Okay. I mean, that's way cool. Oh, she was asking how I liked Cologne. I really enjoyed it. Gamescom as an event is the hardest I've ever worked at an event. But holy heck, like, there's nothing bigger than Gamescom. And the actual area of Cologne around it was feckin' lovely. Like, I mean, it's a historic castle town that was then suddenly packed out with nerds from every walk of life. Like, that's pretty feckin' dope. And EXO was just asking, why couldn't all Crash games be this good? I don't know. After the death of the era of the mascot, it felt like a lot of companies got real panicky and tried to use aforementioned mascots to follow whichever gaming trends were going down. Tull says, on that point, Thought Bubble's now in Harrogate. That's just fun. I liked it in Leeds Armory. That was feckin' cool. That was feckin' cool. Sheep's saying, oh, they're on Cologne, they like the city but never made it to Gamescom. I mean, feck. Gamescom, in terms of... sorry, thank you kindly for the 100 bits. I can't say I agree with the statement that languages are long-term, because I've had years of study of varying languages that are gone. They're just gone. But, I mean, you live in Wales, which is a multilingual part of the world. Like, it is, you know, both Welsh and English are practiced there on the regular. And at least, like, casual exposure to that helps. What a lot of my multilingual friends have said is that, like, being bilingual means eventually being terrible at two languages rather than good at one. And I've always found that entertaining. I'm not saying... Okay. No. There we go. Anyway, you lovely Mother Hubbards. Games news seems to be pretty calm. Which, you know what? I think we can be fine with. I mean, shocking no one, Genshin Impact's making money hand over fist. There's a few third-party polls trying to predict how the console pre-orders are going. Remember, do not pre-order. And oh yeah, Sadlin, the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal. Okay, no, that was cool. I'm trying to remember whether. Oh, Bryson the Robot. Watto. Oh, from an interview lunch break. Go you! Well, Bryson the Robot, we're just chilling and illing, having a coffee. Getting my system. Having a coffee and just getting into a little bit of the banters. Yeah, John Rambo's going to be in Mortal Kombat 11, which I personally find very entertaining. But then I've always found the entirety of the Rambo series very entertaining. From how the series became famous for one thing, but its original movie has a very, very different message. I've always found that fascinating. And yes, Satan, Fall Guys Season 2 is out. Was it Thickest Bonkers, or Thick Bonkers is the new potential random squishy Doom device. The house robots of Fall Guys joining the legendary Big Yeetus. Alice with like, behold, a fight between demigods, demons, and monsters. Also a bloke with PTSD and an assault rifle. I don't reckon his chances. Wait, what about that other bloke? No, he's a cyborg. That's all metal underneath. Alright, well, what about that other guy? Still a cyborg. Oh, Sailor managed to knock out a second place last night. I'm assuming you mean Fall Guys and not Mortal Kombat. Because I'm not saying I don't fancy your chances as a contender in the Mortal Kombat tournament, Sadlin. I just worry. Some of those boys cheat. Some of those boys cheat a lot. Like, one guy's got, like, face. Although, let us think. Oh, to the Axiom Research Solutions. God, there's a part of me that hopes that's an Axiom Verge sequel. Well, Watto and welcome. What about him? Oh no, him? He's a ninja. Okay, wait, not a ninja. Put the mask back on. Please put the mask back on. With actual Ninja Turtles, though. Wait, were they 11 or were they 10? Exo says, Axiom Verge is getting a sequel, isn't it? Probably. Axiom Verge is fascinating, and I love its focus on that kind of squishy, ultra-gore 90s anime style. As a Metroidvania, it's a little weak now because we've moved so much further. So I'd love for them to take the lessons that, like, the Metroidvania sphere has learned and... Oh no, the Turtles are in Injustice 2. That's not fair. I'm gonna stab Superman. I think Splinter's setting them up to fail. I felt a little bit guilty, like in gaming news stuff. The sci-fi looter shooter Outriders were announced today that they're delayed until February, reminding me of the sci-fi looter shooter Outriders. And it's a little bit mean because no game sets out to be bland to fail, but I just showed Fiona a screenshot from the trailer, and I was like, what does this game tell you? And the blank look summed it all up. Outriders doesn't feel like anything. Like, Outriders feels like, I don't know. I feel like I could deconstruct every piece of every asset they've put out from other games. It lacks a heart and a soul. Very much like Godfall or Godslap or Godhammer or whatever it's bloody called that's coming out. And I'm not saying those games don't have potential. I can only judge them by the assets and the campaigns they're putting out. But I don't know. Now is not the time to go for subtle banality. Oh, so McSwaggins, good afternoon. I'm not going to say good morning because everyone got grumpy when I did that. So Axiom Verge 2 is getting a sequel. Okay, I had a feeling. It's coming late, late this year. Lovely. Wraith's adding Outriders might be a fun game, but visually indistinct and suffers heavily from sci-fi technobabble. Yeah. And when asking people to like emotionally invest in a title when all you have to give them is videos and assets, like, you gotta put your best foot forward. And I find it interesting that the post-Destiny looter shooter, despise the term, the post-Destiny world that a lot of companies are going for that sphere. That's cool. But if we look back to the success of Borderlands, like a strong visual style can do wonders. Oh, and Ems, there is a game that looks visually feckin' cracking. Is I Am Dead, is it launching on Steam? I hadn't actually looked to see what platforms it was on. Yes. It's an Annapurna published title, which means welcome to the art house. And YOLO Swaggins, I don't agree with that particular statement. And I don't mean to pick on your comment. This isn't a personal... Because YOLO was saying Spiritfarer is an example of visual style doing everything for a game. I would say... if that had been a bland, more realistic title, it would have been harder to bring people through the door, certainly. I think it's better to consider the art style that they have as a distinctive footing. However, behind it, there is a massively successful game. Like... well, and Swaggins, Annapurna published Gorogoa. And I can't remember if Annapurna Interactive is even still a part of, like, Annapurna Films. So, sorry, thank you kindly for the 100 bits again. I mean, you're keeping me in the Nuggets fed, so I'm very grateful. And you are right. The trailer for the new Harry Potter game does look very, very interesting in a very fresh setting in something that's very familiar and very well trodden. I feel that the problems around the IP will mire that project until it comes out. I mean, okay, I don't need to be coy. J.K. Rowling's a shit human. That's the thing we can just say. But the discussion of, like, her involvement, death of the author, how much it matters, like, this is a discussion that's going to rage for a long-ass time. So, that's... well, I haven't really been talking about it. I don't think it needs any more discussion at this point. And Dash, thank you for getting back into the Spiritfarer stuff, because I do agree. Like, Spiritfarer's whimsical art style was definitely needed because of how hard that story hits. I haven't done a full playthrough of it. I got to play a press demo of it feckin' way back when, and it was feckin' glorious. So, like, oh, also, Falcon Age is going to be getting, when's Falcon Age? When's the non-VR version of Falcon Age dropping? I keep forgetting. Oh, it's happened. That's coming out today. Lovely. Oh, on the subject of gorgeous, adorable games, this is Falcon Age, which I have been keeping a hawk eye on for years, but was very dismayed to find out that it was a VR-only title. And they are doing a non-VR version as of some point today. So that's a thing to look forward to. Actually, and to McSwaggins, I do want to do a deep dive at some point as to what happened with Avalanche, because they fractured as a team into a few different studios. Like, when I first encountered Generation Zero, they were part of Avalanche, and now they're a very distinct, different thing. Oh, and Joda, Wato. And, okay, jumping back just jumping back a little. I mean, friends, you are right that like someone making generic games set in kind of like the grand wizard fantasy can make mad bank right now. And I believe the closest people to it are actually Chucklefish with their one, which is like the I know it's unfair to boil it down thusly, but it's what if Stardew but witches? Oh, and Dash, congratulations. Dash got their Void Egg in No Man's Sky, which means they'll be able to do the whole Farscape living ship shenanigans. But the other thing to remember, and I feel this is, I feel it warrants me saying this just because of what I'm saying about Outlander or Outlier or whatever the bloody hell it was called, that it is the game's, how to phrase it? I'm trying to think how to phrase it that sounds like a massive bad word. I nearly said something else there. It is the game as you release it. It is the game that goes out to users is the thing that matters. That there can be a lot of concepts and a lot of ideas. It can be based on IPs or not. The game as it is received by the users is what matters. And like, I guess I'm trying to riff on the game you never make is always perfect. And I will change the topic. You know what? I'm gonna change the topic. Feck you, wizards. Feck you, wizards. Here's a random fact for you that I was quite chuffed to share with Twitter last night. The Lusty Argonian Maid, that's now a Microsoft property. Boof. Nailed it. Shazam. Yeah, Lecter, Wizard Veto, has been deployed. What was going on? Oh, for those of you that are very, very keen on Genshin Impact, their big old update's dropping, I think, today, I want to say. Also, they made $60 million in a week on mobile alone. So, there's a fun one. Yano's asking, why did Just Cause flop? There's Just Cause 4. I mean, it didn't tank. God, I'd have to go back and have a look. I remember it not receiving great. Alan was saying that Microsoft will be locking it in the IP vaults. Not out of spite, but to protect us all. Yo. I'm within driving distance of the Microsoft offices. I'm not saying that I'm gonna get the Lusty Argonian Maid license, but now I have a goal, now I have a cause. Jumping back to Just Cause, Adeus was saying, contrary to popular belief, you so many times you can run around an island blowing stuff up before it gets boring.
Surprise Mother Hubbard, you'll never be rid of US.
Aaron Feathers, what ho friend. 24 months at a tier 2. That's 2 years in people years. Fucking yo. Cheers to you, Aaron. As you have just coming in to join us, we're just having a bit of a banter morning. I'm gonna get some more coffee in a second. I got a million trillion things to do this afternoon. I will admit, little bit of a lot stressed, but it's going well. It's going well. So, while we're not jumping into Ever Forward right now, I figure let's just hang out, have a cuppa, talk to everybody.
Pocket bits.
Pocket bits! Use them as a distraction. So, well, when you trundled on in, we were chatting, well, we just started chatting about Just Cause 4. And, I mean, Deus was jokingly, but making a solid point that there are only so many ways that you can go around an island blowing stuff up before it gets dull. Escalation of impact. Like, how much the user can affect the world that they are in ever-increasing ways, is something that has diminishing returns. I think one of the things we saw with later... come on, brain, I need this one! Saints Row games, was that Saints Row 1 was a mediocre attempt at GTA's crown that, while buggy and broken, was a little bit funny and launched at the right time. Then we had Saints Row 2, which started embracing the ridiculousness, adding more silliness, more larger, bigger. By Saints Row the Third, the scale of ridiculousness was getting up there. Before you were a superhero-powered... you were in the Matrix as a superhero-powered individual, and... what was interesting is that while the upper curve on the ways in which you could impact the world were going up, the baseline was essentially lost. There's no entertainment to be gained in just punching someone in the gob, when you can, you know, fly around at the speed of sound and smash people, like, straight out of existence. However, I will admit that Gat Out of Hell is the best open-world musical game we've ever had. Oh, Captain Stephanie Barnes. What? House Valkyrie represent. So, there are technical limits to what we can do, like, video gaming-wise, at least without going down to an engine level. Like, for those that don't know, like, Avalanche have their own in-house engine. The same engine that powers Just Cause is also the one that powers, like, Hunter Call of the Wild, where you chase rabbits around an island and whatnot. For them to increase the amount of destructibility in the world, they'd have to allow for, I don't know, terrain deformation or, like, draw distances of explosions, be able to ramp up the effect of the user's actions in the world, and you do reach a point where legacy debt keeps you back. You can't just go, oh cool, we'll just add voxel deconstruction to our homemade engine. So I guess there was always a point where they were going to have to start again, and oh, I didn't know that. Dash was saying that Gat Out of Hell is very broken. If you have a Saints Row 4 save game, it crashes on your game. No. Cat was saying, like, a new Just Cause would need, like, Red Faction level guerrilla destruction. Alice is like, okay, do Hunter Call of the Wild, but with grappling hooks and explosions. And please, wait, no, don't go. That would be a glorious disaster. Oh. Sorry's asking if I have any good recommendations for spooky games. I mean, y'all have been there for most of the bangers. Like, I can recommend you spooky games, but the crackers are ones that I've shown you. I mean, Lost in Vivo was absolutely phenomenal. Varbles is asking if we saw the article on Amazon's game studio attempts yesterday. Well, unfortunately, talking about that does get me into NDA and Friendier territory. I haven't read that particular article. If it doesn't document some very specific disasters, then I will be very surprised. Signimatakun with World of Horror. I have been saving World of Horror for its proper full release. But I got the chance to play that a bunch of times at events and stuff, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot. The use of the roguelike elements is very powerful, because it wasn't until I played through that I realized that if you're doing something, especially something inspired by Junji Ito, you need to have the possibility of failure, the possibility of loss. You need to be put in a situation where you are feeling a genuine sense of dread. And while spooky visuals and jump scares and unsettling elements, like with Soma Sans the health system, you can create that experience without having loss conditions. World of Horror puts you on edge because you don't know how it's going to shake out, and I think that's exceptional. And Bryce the Robot, those are very well-known titles. I'd like to see the Haunted PS1 collection get a little more coverage, but the wrapper for it is so painful to use. It makes it very difficult to show people. Now, honest, the DreadX collection have been an incredible smorgasbord, and again, you know how big a fan I am of the DreadX setup. What they do with that is as fresh as, and so it's been real hard to point to more big budget spooky stuff, having done that whole sing. You mean, have I heard of Tattletale? I'm hurt and offended. I'm hurt and offended. I have a Tattletale song on my playlist. See, this is why we don't do game recommendation sections, because it consists of me going, yes, I know that. Yes, I know that. Have I seen the game that everyone is playing on Twitch right now? Yes, I've seen it. Actually, joking aside, I think that Phantasmophobia is a really interesting title, and it's very similar to a pitch I made years back. And again, the game you never make is always perfect, so me having a pitch in a similar manner doesn't mean diddly. But it's nice seeing that concept succeed, because it basically proves my personal bias. That there is a genuine want for that pacing of research and investigation alongside, rather than just very, very scripted environments. Yeah. I mean, Tal's like, you heard of Fall Guys? I have legitimately had people being like, so I'm playing this game with these bean people, it's called Fall Guys, have you heard of it? And I'm just like, have I heard of Tangle Tower? Poor Tangle Tower. Poor Tangle Tower. We will get to it. But just to bear in mind, friends, that Stooge and Strago are the ones that recommended me the Blackwell series, and they recommended that probably a month or two after we started this, and it took 2 years to get to it. Hey. Dash is like, I don't know, I've not heard of it till you get that crown. Oh, my life. But here's something I will say, not for me, but for all the peoples in your lives. When recommending games, just remember, not that the person may know more than you do, but sometimes video game recommendations can come across as incredibly patronizing. And especially the masses in POC among us, have probably suffered through 1,000 white dudes, like, mansplaining a game directly at them. So I'm not saying that you lot are a group that's guilty of this, but I personally try and strive to discuss games from a point that doesn't seem like I'm talking down at people about them. I know I don't always succeed at that. I'm going to keep trying, but always try and come at it from a place where you're trying to bring people into it rather than shut them out. Oh, Lecter, thank you. That's a big old compliment. Sorry, Lecter was saying that the best recommendation they got was me telling them, you don't want to know anything about it, just play Outer Wilds. Yeah, Bryce the Robot, being welcoming I think is real important. I don't understand where a lot of it comes from. Like, a lot of the time it's enthusiasm, or it's keen, or it's wanting to bring people into it, but just something to bear in mind, yo. Something to bear in mind. Oh yeah, Lecter, I do not recommend games casually. I pride myself on being able to be a little bit of a video game sommelier, which is a terribly wanky term and almost in counter to what I was just saying about being welcoming. And dear friends, if you haven't had the chance to play through Outer Wilds, make a beeline for it. Like, that is a game that will stay with me for a very long time. Oh god. Sing was saying that she used to find it a lot with anime. When people were trying to one-up who knows who's seen what. When with games, it's either play it or tell me the experience from playing it. God, the anime community in terms of like elitism and in terms of patronizing explanations of things is feckin' terrible. Still now. And I say this as kind of like a second wave super weeb. And it's amazing how many times I hear, at least in the anime spheres, of people being like, oh, everyone kept bugging me to watch this thing and I just wanted to never hear about it again. Then I went to it years later and found out that was actually pretty good. Any conversation involving JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I got lucky. I got to experience that completely in a bubble because I found the characters from my obsession with fighting games, and then was like, oh, this is based on a manga. Oh, I'm gonna go over and have a look. Oh, cool, it's going on forever. Well, I guess I'll start reading it. Several years later. But I never encountered any of the fandom going into that. It's glorious. YOLO says, have you seen the Annapurna collection stuff? Yes, I have. Are they back in stock? Because Annapurna's merch is amazing. Alright. No, their merch is on hold at the moment. I will say though, just as a quick aside, completely unrelated, but companies like Devolver and Annapurna being as carefully curated with their titles does make me very happy, because it means that I'm not saying Annapurna haven't put out bad games, but I'm saying that every time they've shown me something, I've definitely been interested. Tell us about a game you don't know about. I mean, I already whinged about Outlanders and God Slap or God Pants or whatever it's bloody called. Sarah's asking, what do you think that makes an RPG game appealing to people? It's done good. What changes do you think helped game devs make games? What do you mean in the RPG spaces? God, that's a great question. I mean, we're playing faster and looser with the term RPG as we apply it to the games that we encounter with. If you had to ask me for one hot tip to make a good RPG, it's trust your player. Don't vomit me 20 hours. Don't vomit me exposition in the first 2 seconds. Don't be afraid to let me experience your creation. If you have to tell me about the War of the Gods in the first minute or two, honestly, I don't care. And now I don't care in stereo. It was the 15th age of the 7th age of man. I am out. Give me enough trust and respect to see your world before you give me the stakes. And I know that seems to run a little bit counter to what we got with Death Stranding's opening. But Death Stranding's opening gave us the stakes. But they gave us the stakes by observation, not by, expositive narrative. Oh, and Steel Fox, I wholeheartedly agree. Doom 2016's opening is one of the greatest. It tells you everything you need to know about that world, and through the actions is so evocative of the character. It does use a little bit of meta-narrative to do so. If you haven't played a bunch of video games where people talk your ear off in the first 5 seconds, it might not hit as heavy as it does, but it's just the character starting to explain to you the world, and your guy just goes, psh, smashes the screen and just gets on with it. Alnus is saying that Final Fantasy VI had you walk in the snow slowly. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, a raid on a train. You're given a character, you're given enough to understand, but you're not told the whole, Shinra is siphoning the power of the planet, and the planet's sad, and there's somebody's dead mom in a jar, and there's a dude. His sword's super long, but not like your super long sword, a different super long sword. And there's a vampire. You might not meet him if you don't play. And there's a bunch of wizards who are also knights. You can summon them, but stay away from Ruby Weapon. I'm just... So Ark was saying give the characters intro at the opening, at the world's intro over the course of the game. I think that's a real good shorthand. I know it's a very, very easy, but as a starting off point, do not play your opening cinematic or opening title until your user has as the closest to the largest action in the world. Feckin' Wild Arms. Wild Arms has you play for 4 hours until it rolls titles. Because it has you play as each of the characters, then play as them together. You try and save the king, then they roll credits, and then starts the game proper. Oh, Joda. Well, if you succeed at that whole sleep thing that all the cool people are into these days, let me know. Maybe you can get me a little. I've got nothing there. I was going for an illegal drugs joke. I stacked the delivery there. I need more coffee. But the other thing I wanted to say was, reiterate, was M saying, show don't tell wherever you can. Your audience feels much more respected if they discover the world themselves rather than being told what it is. Very yes. You can do that with cutscenes, you just can't do it with spoken exposition. Fearless says it's something I've seen some neophyte game devs fall into. They so desperately want to tell us this interesting story, this fascinating setting they come up with. They have a tendency to front load the exposition instead of splitting it up and dialing it out more organically. Yes! The Battle of the Gods doesn't mean diddly if you don't care about the world. Jonathan, Watto friend? Watto, coming in. Yeah, Bryson the Robot, Wild Arms 3. Ah. Man. And Wild Arms 3 gives you a sand tank, but it's also a boat. See, Stompy, I am specifically avoiding talking about how Hades does its story, because I know there's a few people here who are vehemently avoiding info on it. But I think, here's a good example. Transistor. Transistor's opening gives us so much. But the amount of time between start of game and moving around, minutes. So, now I'm not saying these are the only tools. There are incredibly successful games that lead you by the nose right up until the end. There are wildly successful RPGs that just vomit an entire story at you with some isekai level bullshit. I'm not saying it can't be done, but if you're asking me what I would advise an RPG development team to do, like, I mean, hell, ask feckin' Baron on this. Like, organic exploration of your world allows you to have more weight on the things you find out. Like, Memnol's actually a wonderful little example. Like, if Baron had told us the story of the universe and all the intergalactic shenanigans that had happened in a big old speech at the beginning, and then we are given just a regular character, like, what are the stakes here that's involved? If you look at Memnol's arc, like, the stakes increasingly ramp up, and so did our investment in the world. At first, we're just an amnesiac bloke who wakes up on a spaceship. You know? What were our first goals? Where the hell are we? Who the hell are we? What the hell are we? And that ended up being real good. Things like Reverse Isekai. I play as a demon lord who is now a salaryman. I mean, when done right, like, case in point, ReZero, the Isekai formula is actually a great example of show don't tell, which is missed so many times. Like, the Saga of Tanya the Evil, ReZero, Ascendance of a Bookworm. Like, you can do great storytelling in that manner. Hell, Ascendance of a Bookworm, there's a great example of show don't tell. Sorry, here's me on the anime. So Felix was think that Hairbrain's Battletech is a fantastic intro cutscene that fills the player in broad strokes. Yes. Oh, God. I was so impressed with how they managed to condense the entirety of the feeling of the Battletech universe without, like, an old Deckard Cain-style exposition. I'm just like... No, they did great. And actually, one of the things I really disliked about MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries was the whole father's swords... exposition nonsense at the beginning. I'm like, I'm playing this game to be a mercenary. Didn't play this game. They could have very easily allowed us to just start taking missions and told us our story in reverse. And yeah, Alnus, ReZero is a fantastic example of personal connections impact world-breaking stakes, right? Ark of the Conclave says the amnesiac self-insert main character is such a common trope because the player learns of the world and the stakes the characters does, and it pulls you in. And I like that. I really like that. Wheeler Dealer! It's like one of my Japanese animes! How are you doing, dude? Well, we were actually... Asari asked us a really good question, which is what do I think makes a good RPG? And I was like, oh boy, that's a big one. And the thing that I put forward as a personal... if I was advising an RPG team, it's like, do not front-load your story. Like, give me nice... Like, let me experience the world. Trust me as the user, as the player. And then we got talking about Animus, And I was giving the examples of ReZero, the Saga of Tanya the Evil, and Ascendance of a Bookworm as great examples of, even in the isekai, usually the most exposition vomity of genres, of giving us that. Oh, Bryson Robot, good luck with your interview, friend. You got this. You got this. Isekai usually a very, very exposition-heavy, vomitous environment. Even in that space, you can trust your user. And Dash, I see what you're saying. I mean, MMOs can give you, although knowing whether or not a game is worth your time, even with the stakes, is a very hard one. But again, I'm not saying it can't be done. I mean, World of Warcraft, feckin' hell. Oh, actually, you could say that World of Warcraft, you know the world certainly, but the environment of your character is actually pretty carefully divvied out. Squarepeg, you are more than welcome to pitch a game. Though it is worth saying, like, in this day and age, video games aren't about concepts and pitches as much as they are about executables. You can tell me that you want to do an open world hack and slash game with like freeform cooking and exploration. I'd be like, that conceptually sounds like a lot of things, but if you can do it and do it better than the other person, congratulations! Like 60 million in a week. I'm not saying the anime collectible elements didn't harm Genshin Impact, but fucking hell. Supposedly they did 17 million installs and 60 million USD in a week. Oh yeah, no, YOLO. Swaggins, this is what I was feeling today. I wanted something a little bit chipper, but not too like, waha! But like Square, if you want to pitch me a concept, I would also say like consider time to development and consider resources as well. I mean, let's talk about this because I can absolutely help. But I'm saying like we did with Steel getting on Steam and stuff like that. Like let's treat it like it's real. Jonathan's saying they can't make an account, can't load this site on any browser. Well, so Jonathan, we had this problem with Wandering Gamer, and it turned out to be a firewall issue. And Iron, thank you for asking on Baldur's Gate 3. There are so few games like Divinity 2 Original Sin. Like, that game's like a decent bottle of wine. You gotta save it for the right time. Like, don't chug it on a Tuesday morning. You know what I mean? That's my personal feels on it. I am real happy loads of people are getting stuck in, and the early access and the way they're doing it is gonna result in a much better title. But it is something that we won't get another one of in a long time. And I'm so glad I waited to play Divinity Original Sin 2 with friendos and having a great fun time with it. Because if I'd sat down and binged it by myself, I wouldn't have had the same fun with it. Like, there are some games that you can play and replay and that shines from it, but like the collaborative experience of Divinity Original Sin is just special. Oh, So Mr. Squarepeg says the game they're planning on making is a 2D multiplayer top-down RPG where a generated world of history determines the shape, races, and monsters and gods of the world. Interestingly enough, the guy that from Daybreak Studios, who was on PlanetSide, what's his name? I always call him Smeders, which is Smedley. Something Smedley. Feck! Oh, what's his feckin' name? Alright. Just... because he was on EverQuest as well. Oh, this is gonna kill me. Alnus with Bob Daybreak. That's not help me!
Reactor online. Sensors
Hey!
online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
DJ, you feckin' ledge! How you doing, dude? Oh, Joel. Is there more coffee? Could I please have more coffee? Also, DJ's on 18 months, being all cool. Aaron's got 24, DJ's got 18, everyone's being cool.
DJ's not a good enough friend.
We are joking, DJ, we are so joking.
What you couldn't see is the shitting grin on my face when I was like, oh, this is gonna be funny.
Because I reminded DJ about death. Like, I could have kept my yak sharp. So yeah, jumping back very quickly to Asari's question about scary games, we are going to be playing a scary game this month. Dan, I will, once I'm done with all the VO stuff today and things, I will lock down a time. We're playing Depth. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. John Smedley. All right. So. Now let's see if we can... Oh, thank you. Why you like this? Okay. Oh. Alright. Okay, thanks Wikipedia for not having a titleless game. Now, Mr. Squarepeg, I promise this is going to come back around. Oh, Dan was asking how I feel about 7 Days to Die. I fucking love it. My good friend Camille was streaming a lot of it. And I do feel that for 7 Days to Die, like, you need to have an entertaining group of survivors. But new code. Well, secondhand new code. How long did it take for River to crawl onto it? You know what, just throw it in Discord. River is already having a snooze on the new code.
I'm surprised that was actually clear on the camera.
Yeah.
Proud of that.
It's a good phone. Oh, Dan was saying they just picked it up after watching a bunch. I kind of want to get into crafting games. Oh, it's gorgeous, and the Blood Moon is genuinely terrifying. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I'm having to go deep into this one, because Squarepeg, trust me, we're... Okay. God darn it. Okay. So, the reason why I brought up John Smedley is Smeders made a game that was very, very similar to that. So it was a 2D, it was going to be an MMO-sized project, very, very evocative of original Ultima Online. But what was fascinating about it was that each world was generated based on the gods you chose. So at the start of your game, you choose the pantheon. You choose which god filled which role. Which god was your death god, your, fertility god, how powerful they were. Then, through the things you've chosen, it would generate the history and the races and the world, and that's when you'd leap in. I mean, it's a procedural generation game, so the challenge is that... Oh yeah, Jonathan Pope, that game was cancelled. I I keep forgetting the name of it, as I think I still have a build of it on Steam, but it's gone. Right, it got pulled. I know it sounds very Dwarf Fortressy, but Hero's Song, that was it. Thank you. Let's see if it's still in my library. Oh wow, no, it's gone from my library. Fuck. Wait, hang on. Okay, so the page is still up. The page is still up, but you can't purchase it. Oh, so you were a backer of the project. Okay, well, you know the one I'm talking about. Honestly, the concept has... Yeah, Jonathan Pope, I think I got a refund for it. Because I was really fascinated with the concept. Yeah, with any procedural generation game, the difficulty is that for what you save on having to create assets later on or content later on, you basically front load it with a lot of programming. And you won't see any gameplay elements until much later in development than you would see if you were handcrafting that. But then also you save time later on because you don't have to manually create all the content. If you were going to do something like that as a standalone individual, you'd want something that supports a game that you play for, like with each world being between like 4 and 10 hours. Like, you want shorter experiences. You don't want to be going for a huge, honkingly great RPG. So yeah. But yeah, going back to DJ on the 7 Days to Die, it's a cracking game, and if it's a thing you're getting into, my friend, just let me know. Let me know. And Asari was adding that that they love a good narrative story that can hold their attention. You know, growing up, they read a lot of books, classic stories, mythology, fairy tales, that kind of thing. And I am all feckin' for that. It's just the medium of video games, we tell our stories in a very different way, right? And we need to think about what it is to tell an engaging story. You know, with... Even if we go back to the classics, like... Even good old Tolkien doesn't front-load the entire world on you. I mean, what is the start of The Hobbit? It's just Bilbo hanging out, having a good time, and his wizard mate shows up and is like, I have a great idea. And a shit ton of dwarves. Oh, Catra says, on a side note, did a Google search for PT on PS4 and found that there are PS4s with PT on them that go for $1,000 on eBay. Yup. And Jonathan Pope was saying procedural generation can be good, also not. Well, experientially, whether or not that procedural generation works is one thing. It's worth just thinking about, there's no perfect way to build a game, at least not yet. Procedural generation means that you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dev hours creating, like, the experience, the content, the assets. However, you will be spending most of your development time on the systems that are going to generate that content. And if there are any gameplay elements that come out of that that are unfun or uncomfortable or don't work, you won't be aware of it until much later in development, when when the systems start coming together, the bloke that made Spelunky has done so many incredible write-ups of this. It is absolutely worth the time. The thing to take away from Hero's Song, though, is that an interesting world generator does not make for an interesting game. There wasn't much to do beyond hack and slash and talk to characters, but a larger portion of the time, the character motivations were very, very basic. Oh, Steel Fox, good luck. Oh yeah, and Deus, on the PT conversation, was saying exclusivity and something less obtainable will always fetch high prices. Wu-Tang, why did you do that? Like, Hero's Song didn't fail because of its world generation content. There just wasn't much to do in that world. Now, one of the games I've been playing a lot recently, I think it's still on the update, is Ruin Arch. Now, Ruin Arch takes the environmental generation of something like RimWorld, but instead of putting you in charge of the villagers to try and save them, you are a demonic being from the shadows trying to kill them all. And so you observe all their personalities, their habits, and get them to do a murder. The gameplay comes from a lot of the systems interacting with one another as you do mischief. However, each session only lasts like at max an hour or two. So the generation, finding new villagers, learning out who has a crush on who, or who hates certain habits, and like learning their environment and then messing with them. You know, making it so that, you know, Ethan thinks that Helen stole his loot and so goes reports it to the lawmaker. But you've already whispered in the lawmaker's ear to have a crush on Helen or whoever I just made up. So they get off the hook, but then the other guy is mad, and then you whisper in his ear that maybe Helen's got it coming. He does a murder, he gets arrested, things get weird.
Random cozy bits.
Katros, thank you, friend. Feckin' yo, thank you. Lecter's having a mini non-games rant. The Oregon DMV doesn't have a call waiting or callback feature. So I have to call them every few minutes and hope someone picks up. Ugh. Graphite says, wait, you mean not trying to kill everybody in RimWorld? Huh. Suddenly my games make a lot more sense. Sorry, getting mildly distracted for a second there. I do apologise. Anyway, I also understand, like, a lot of... There's no direct way to tell a story in video games, and we're still learning. It is entirely possible to front-load a story with masses of vomited exposition, but thinking of the way in which we ask our players to engage in that, there are a great many ways it can be done. One thing that I've considered is the fish head scene from what became of Ethan Carter. No, what became of Edith Finch. I always get those two mixed up, name-wise. That we could give a large amount of spoken exposition to a user, whilst they are allowed to do things, rather than just being made to kind of observe. Oh yeah, Lady Lecter, I mean, you don't need me to tell you. What Remains of Edith Finch is super good, and how it tells its stories. Like, the fish head scene is still one of the best examples of, like, control scheme as narrative. Alright, so I'm gonna start, like, dancing around it a little bit. So I played Genshin Impact, and I've got to admit, once you get let off the leash, that game is good. It does bear more than a striking resemblance to Breath of the Wild, especially in some of the animations and in some of the character mannerisms. And that makes me a little uncomfortable, but neither here nor there. It's not like, you know, I'm drowning in Breath of the Wild stuff to play anyway. But I had to get through it. I had to get through that opening. And at the beginning, you're suddenly in a battle with like a pixel god because of reasons. And there's your brother for whatever. Okay, that's happening. And you're fighting them because of reasons. And then they beat you because of reasons. But you actually get sent to another dimension. And then you meet a talking child who, honestly, I will pay $15 to lock into a small metal bin and just throw him into a trench. And then you're held very much by the hand through like the control tutorial elements. And I was very glad that we were doing like a little watch party while this was happening, because I had to fight tooth and nail to get through it. Contemplating that scenario, if we took something very, very simple, took like a similar storytelling method to what became of Edith Finch. You know, give us the open book, give us the tale unfurled, and the character on the side as we learn our way through the control system. Oh, and Sheep, thank you for coming to hang out, yo. I'm sorry this wasn't the gameplay stream as promised, but I hope you had yourself a good little afternoon. Tomorrow we'll be back for Blackout Club, and I'll try and do a coffee morning, like same time-ish. So Salen says, straight bounced off that opening. Feckin' right.
Who wants to sing?
And Num Num, thank you for the host. Now, again, I understand why it did the things it did. It's essentially a title designed for multiple platforms, so it's got to take the mobile gaming style of teaching the very basics and things like that. But I feel that I genuinely feel that Genshin's awful introduction has probably cost them more users than they'll ever know. There's no data on... Well, I guess they get Ricochet. So if someone creates an account, plays for a certain bit, and leaves and never comes back, you better believe they're logging that. And Kestrel, Watto, hello, hello. We're just having a hangout and a chat. I got myself a very, very busy day. So we'll hang out, chat for a couple hours, talk about them video games. Asari asked us a real interesting question. They got some great conversations going. And the gaming sphere today is nice and calm, which is lovely. Wish it would stay that calm, but we're not that lucky. Hang out and chat on this channel. I know, shocking, but here we are. Katra says, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people who try again, but people around them won't shut up about it. I mean, re-engagement metrics is usually only like 1%, like a real small... Alright, and this is only from the data I've seen, primarily based on mobile titles and things like that, but what tends to happen is, if you don't grab somebody in that first 5 minutes, and they ricochet off, it is very unlikely that they will come back. Like, of that percentage, it's only like... I mean, getting 5% of those people to come back is considered a very good metric. That's why a lot of free-to-play titles will be very, very aggressive about, hey, we've got more free stuff, didn't finish that tutorial. But, and Katros, it's kind of like the misnomer of like good games sell themselves. the power of word of mouth in a lot of games isn't to be dismissed. But I assure you that apart from a very few rare outliers, anytime something seems like it's getting good word of mouth, there is someone behind the scenes sending out emails, sending out press releases, informing people. It's rare that there are truly breakaway successes. I don't know, Katros, I don't mean that as an attack on your good self. It's good games sell themselves is one of the most dangerous mentalities some developers get into, and it's killed whole projects. The very few, and you can count on your hand, the very few that make it through create the survivor bias that's then reinforcing. Oh, thank you kindly. See, I take that as a big compliment. Earl was saying it takes something special to get someone to come back to a thing like, I don't know, this numpty hosting a Monster Hunter World session with the Longship. And I remember us talking about this, Earl, about how you had bounced off Monster Hunter World. And I will say, Monster Hunter World is not good for letting you off the chain early. Unfortunately, I was already a Monster Hunter fan, so I was willing to push through a lot. Mecha Noel, good games sell themselves, she says, weeping, actively ignoring social media. Yeah. And the problem is the good games sell themselves mentality sets root early in development, and it's only after things are starting to look shaky that people go, oh crap, we have to tell people about our video game. So John says they've disabled their antivirus and firewall, still can't load it. Well, the good test is usually disable the Wi-Fi on your phone and use mobile data and check it. Because if you're seeing some images and not others, that means that you have access, but only some of the info is getting through. Mecha Noel, you can't rely on Steam Discovery Queue. Not even slightly. And, outreach is time-consuming. It works, but it requires a lot of hours. And then we get into kind of light side, dark side marketing stuff. If it's getting bad and it's looking like people are going to start losing jobs, how dark side do you go when it comes to making people aware of your video game? Night Vale saying Steam's Discovery is a pile of doo-doo. It is. I like that they're trying, but again, Steam's one of those, if they don't have to do something, they don't. They only just added chat filtering. This year. You can now turn on the maybe don't show me swear words from people. And because of Steam's algorithmically based setup, it's very much a success begets success. Your title must have enough groundswell to be discoverable, or be so close to an existing title as... Hey, Steam Store, could you do your thing, please? I was just going to bring up my discovery queue as a quick little example. Mechano says, how much sponsored stuff you're doing? I mean, reaching out, getting stuff done is entirely fair. It just takes just played us this. All right. Let's get some of them. Give me some of them Zelda jams. Oh wow, I can't even get Steam's Discovery Queue to load, so that's fun. Good work, Steam, good work. Out for the deluge, what ho, friend? Alright, let's head on over to Steam's Discovery Queue and have a look at... Whoops, sorry. Great. Wonderful. Sorry. And if I seem a little bitter on this one, it's because I constantly fought against the whole good games sell themselves mentality. And I'm not saying that you should, you know, market your game up the wazoo and have season passes and feckin' pre-order bonuses. But, like, if you don't tell someone about your game's existence, then... Oh, Kestrel says, what constitutes dark side? Well... Marketing is a strange place. Okay, let me give you a hyperbole example. You can play this game for 2,100 hours. What? That's a lot of gameplay. Yeah, it is. So much gameplay. Thousands of hours of gameplay. Hyperbole daddy! Damn it, you got me saying it, Lecter. Now, technically, that's not false. You could sit in that game and trundle around and play a whole bunch, but in truth, there's probably only about like 30, 40 hours of gameplay, like of content in our actual game. Now, we have informed the user of how much they can play, and some people will make a purchasing decision based on the hours of gaming. People do. Like, it is often discussed, like, you know, if you've only got $60 and there are 4 games you want, it's not unfair for the user to say, all right, well, this game is real good, but it's only 10 hours long. This game is real good, but supposedly I can play it for 100,000 hours. So they spend that $60 on you. What you then have is someone who has bought that game under, not a direct lie, because what you've told them isn't incorrect. It's just an exaggeration. But now they're through the door. They play the game, and if the game is good, they like it. That is what I consider to be dark side marketing. It is elements that are shady. I also find things like marketing stunts and IRL marketing nonsense to be a big part of that as well. So, like, having a... I don't know. Oh, yes. So, like, the... I think it was Red Faction Guerrilla Stunt, where they put a car in London and chained a sledgehammer to it and filled the car with copies of the game and just went, let nature take its course. Oh, yes, the dead goat. Wait, I thought the dead goat was God of War. Now, again, I am not saying that people will... I'm not saying that this is good and that you should do it and that people will definitely buy because of it. But it does... Okay, there's a multiple different points that I'm kind of dancing around all of them.
Captain
so I'm just
on
gonna...
the bridge.
The
Hey!
great horned rat, yes. We love worship them.
Jaralan, you fucking legend. 23 months at tier 3. I mean, friends, today's subs have all been like 23, 24, 18. Like, we've just had bangers. Lecter, that GIF was from, I think the first live E3 Bowl we did here. It's fucking cool. Oh, the GOAT was God of War 2. Okay. And yeah, Mechanowell saying, stuff like that doesn't tell us anything about the game. It's weird and it's interesting and tangentially related, and therefore getting more people to look at your game favorably without knowing anything about it, potentially buying it based on that. Yes. Also, one of the reasons why I'm so vehemently against pre-orders, because pre-orders awards the marketing team, not the development team. But that's another story. And Jaralan, yep. I have a big old session, and touch wood, if I'm good at my job, then I can get all of the VO acting stuff done today. And the thing with Ever Forward is I don't want to do just an hour on it and then be like, peace. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I spent a lot of last night practicing some Latin. That happened. And Kev was saying, what do you think about what Baldur's Gate 3 has done? Do you mean the early access release? Or they're kind of like parody dev diaries of people in armor around the office? Or... I mean, hype campaign marketing is very much more towards the dark side than the light side of marketing stuff. Sadlin, alright, I'm lost. Why Fridays pulled off a speedrun to exclamation party time? Oh, Fick! Blazeball! Oh yeah, I need to get the tracks downloaded and set up, but we actually got permission from the Seattle Garages band to have their music on stream. I just need to get that set up. Oh, so Kestrel, sorry. I didn't mean that Baldur's Gate's been doing hype campaign. Theirs has mostly been like tongue-in-cheek assets from Larian and stuff like that. And Kestrel, mean doing an early access release at full AAA price. Oh, they know that people have already made their purchasing decisions based on the price point, and that the users that are waiting to buy it later would probably be put off if it was at a lower price point now. They've lost no sales by selling it at full at this point, but mostly because it's a studio people love, working with an IP people love. They have a certain amount of, what's the word? I want to say blasé, but that's not the right term. Clout. Thank you, Kestrel. Oh, that's cool. Katros was saying that Yahtzee did a video on Acclaim's Entertainment's marketing stunts last year. Feckin' hell. Got a guy arrested. Feckin' hell. Dude pretending to be Sam Fisher with a fake pistol in a bar. He got very arrested. Asari Greenfire. Let me ask you the same question back. What do you think makes depth scary as for me? What do you think? What do you think springs to mind when you look at depth? Mechanoel says, is this a Blazeball safe zone? Well, I'm not going to talk your ears off about it, so you don't have to worry about that. But yes, I'm a vermin supporter of the Seattle Garages. I mean, the fictional city of Seattle is one of my favorite places. Kestrel says they seem to miss all these big marketing stuff, the hype things anyway. I mean, there's no shark Skaven! Skaven Assassin! Oh, Sea Rattle was so good. Friends, if you missed yesterday's Warhammer stream, you missed so many puns. And Kestrel, I think it is something worth highlighting that a lot of those big old marketing stunt maneuvers are mostly targeted at a very specific part of the games industry. Well, the games ecosystem, I should say. They're usually targeted at like what's considered the core, the 14 to 35 white male. However, a lot of those marketing stunts also reach outside of gaming sphere into Normo land. A lot of them were designed kind of like in that pre or early social media sphere. You know, a lot of those were designed to grab headlines in newspapers and things like that. Like, to places where video games didn't used to reach. Megan, well, I'm fighting the urge to talk Blazeball at these lovely people. Skaven shock, do. Oh my word. Anyway, sorry, I realized conversationally drifted off into a weird sphere of space there. But it's just jumping back to what Mechanoel was saying about, like, you can't rely on discoverability. You can't rely on Steam. Steam is a platform where success begets success. If you're already massive, you're going to be out in front of everybody. So as a small team, how do you get yourself out there? How do you become discovered by people who would love your game? And I feel like if you're asking me, do I think we should do shenanigans marketing sites? Do I think we should do dark side, overhyped promises, or like tie-ins with unrelated projects? No, games should be strong enough to be found for the things that they are. But that's not the world we live in. And friends, if I was your boss, like there's what, 40 of us here. If I was your boss and the difference between you lot having a job for the next year and not was me going on stage and making up a bunch of bullshit, like, I've got to be honest, I would trash my reputation to keep everybody fed. Now, I'm not saying that's what Molyneux and people like that have done. I don't know them well enough to speak for it. But can you see where that kind of comes in? Also, the Steam store is not working. I keep trying to show you stuff and things on here, and it's like, lol. So Jaron, I'm saying, video game marketing has always been weird. Remember, John Romero's gonna make us his bitch? Yeah, that was so strange. Supposedly, he never approved the marketing company to put that out, and at this point, I can believe it. Oh yeah, and that 90s Super Mario ad. This is because it's better, it's getting better, but advertising companies don't come from the games industry, and they don't care. Like, they have very specific targets that they are given by publishers, and they will make it happen, by hook or by crook. And Earl was adding that the marketing targeting the 13 to 25-year-old demographic is pretty cringe back from the old days. Oh yeah, it is. But for some weird reason, it's taken us a long time to shake it. Like, I mean, in games media, we're still very, very focused on the core. And it is rare for people talk a lot about accessibility and getting games for people that aren't, pasty white blokes. But then you see very little in the way of outreach outside of the existing demographics. Casual says, where is a place to find good games? I put a lot of time into finding titles, and even now they slip past me. Like, I was using Rebind back when they were still posting a lot. Rebind, Rock Paper Shotgun, Content Creator Friends, Feck. A few individuals whose opinions I take very, very, very highly, but there aren't good places to find good games. I found a site the other day that did like weighted Steam review nonsense, which was very interesting, and it created like a hype tracker based on like number of wish lists, number of reviews, release date, percentage, feckin' Metacritic stuff, all of that. Oh, Catros is saying, remember when Dante's Inferno sent out Rickroll boxes as part of a hype campaign? See, those are pretty grand. Those are pretty feckin' grand. And what was it? I studied this campaign back to front because it uses a lot of pop culture references, and the game was kind of meh. But Bulletstorm sending out tiny cases of tiny booze, like for miniatures and a magnifying glass. I thought that was inspired. Megan Noel says, I miss a certain grumpy Brit who used to do first impressions. And regardless of your opinion of that particular cynical Brit during his career, like, I got to meet him real briefly, had a casual conversation. Like, I couldn't comment to him as a person, but he has been directly responsible for some of my favorite titles succeeding. Like, without Total Biscuit, Warframe would have died on the vine. Like, how was a biomechanical ninja game to find its feet if no one was looking at it? And I say that as someone who was there playing that game from day one. And Earl also makes another good point, that not everybody wants to find good games. It does depend on what they want from a title. Els tried to get friends into various amazing games because of certain core mechanics in said games that they find interesting. Some of their friends absolutely despise them. Feckin' yo. I mean, that's also one of the things I try and do here, when it's not a day when I'm just talking your ear off. But what I try and do here is find those little gems, and if it's not something that you would personally like, at least find the bits of it that are good and pull it through. Aaron's saying Season 2 can't come fast enough. It's showing up way too fast. Wait. Which season? What thing? Because there's a lot of things that could be a Season 2 right now. Mandalorian, Fall Guys, Too Much Coffee. Memno! Yo! Aaron, did you see the pins that Baron made? Oh, Aaron, that's super kind of you. Like, I'm looking forward to it as well. I mean, I know feck all about it, apart from that it's 5th edition, not Stars Without Number. But I know nothing else about it. Oh, well, I am now a certified giant robot pilot. I can get into bars. I was like, error, nonsensical statement uttered. Please rephrase the too much coffee. Scenario not found. Oh yeah, Mechanoel, for my late birthday present, Baron got me a mech pin, and Lucifer got me like a new longship jacket, and it's feckin' cool. Alan is just like, wait, you're certified. Who did this? Who let this idiot know giant robot? I want an inquiry. Too late, I got my pin later. Doing wheelies with my heelies. Oh, and so I don't want to go too much into like the Undertale discussion because, again, some games just don't resonate with people, and I have had games that I know intellectually I should like, but playing it I'm just like, nope. And there are games that I understand are trash, but I love them. I know the Tarkov devs are not good people. I know that game is counterintuitive and obnoxious. Not like it's designed obnoxious, but what I try and do here is go into them and pull out the little bits that it does. Like, I'm not a reviewer. My job isn't to tell you whether or not you should spend money on a game. I'm not here to denote the quality of something, but like, if I can go into a title and bring out the good stuff and show you, then I feel I'm doing my job right, you know? Actually, Alnus, I think Papers, Please is another great example. I hated playing Papers, Please, but I love that it exists, and I see all the things coming through. And, like I said, I personally believe there are very few bad games, and when I don't get on with a title, I consider the opus on myself to go in and find out what I'm not gelling with, what isn't working there. Like, yeah, I definitely want to move this conversation topic on. Yeah. What else has been going on in video games? The one that's irking me, I never thought I'd want to have an iPhone again, but there is a title out at the moment called Hollow Vista, and it looks like a fascinating acid trip via your phone, and I am all about that. Mechanoel, just Max! Oh, yeah. Mechanoel, I love this design, and the gift from Zelki is still something I want to say thank you for, but this feckin' Psycho Zaku is gonna be the end of me. I'm still working on it. I've been working on this thing for like months now. I had to blow dust off of some of the pieces. And Stammering Gamer, Watto. Hey, Mechanoel, if you want to start doing some mech designs. Oh, also we have the Balu Bowl this weekend. So if you want to do some tabletop battle royale with robots, you are cordially invited. Oh no, Aaron. I made the admittance. When was it? A couple weeks back. Like, you'll got me beat. Although I was talking with the No Grey November crew, and we did say it's No Grey in November, not No Grey in November 2020. So we found ourselves a teeny tiny loophole. But it does mean you can stop sending Gundams, dear friends. I'm grateful for all of them, but you lot are far too nice to me. Stop sending Gundams. Actually, you know what? I do want to jump back. Sorry. I do want to jump back to the prior topic because a couple of comments there hit a bit hard there, and friends, video games are art, and video games mean a lot to people, and especially games that try to resonate with people on an emotional level. And saying that the only reason you go back to a title to rip the piss out of it, I don't know, that's not cool. Like, to understand that you're not getting on with the title is entirely fine. Like, but do bear in mind that when you say you hate a game, when you wail on it for certain elements and think it only worthy of derision, that you are talking about something that genuinely means something to somebody. I fucking love Undertale, and Undertale was part of one of the first good Christmases I had in a long time. And after years after being kicked out by my family and just basically ignoring Christmas wholesale and kind of like piggybacking onto others, like the first time, like, it was my own little place and I cooked up a turkey, we got a tree, we decorated it with all the merch I'd gotten from like varying conventions and events and things, and then we sat and we played through Undertale. We played through the first time, played for the second time, got to see the full experience of it unfurl, and it was glorious. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, when you diss on something, you may be going at a piece of art that means something to somebody's core. So yeah, I dislike the idea that someone would just go back to show that to people just to tear it apart. Made me a little sad. Anyway. Promise I'm done with that one. Ehrman, I did say stop sending Gundams. You terror. And Earl was saying the Battle Royale with mechs makes me wish for a Battle Royale Mech Warrior game. See, I like that idea. I will say, what was it? Robocraft tried to do it, and it didn't land. Stooge, what, oh friend? How are you doing? How was your morning? I believe, Kestrel, this may be a raid. Also, Nightbot definitely gets another gold star for kneecapping another bot attempting to do a thing. Sorry. No, I've not done all of the Gundams. I have not done all the Gundams. There are so many left. I'm still going to do the Penelope next, because the box is too big to put into the areas there. And sorry, I don't want to sound ungrateful for the Gundam stuff. Like, y'all are keeping me sane. Stooge says it was good. Didn't play the game. There was no game. There was no game. The fecking point-and-click section of There Is No Game, the LucasArts parody, made my heart sing. Mecha was like, whoa, you mail me a Gundam. I'll mail you one back. I can't afford the postage on that one. But a Gundam exchange does sound entertaining. So what was interesting for the mech battle royale that Robocraft did was that you were in like a little pod and you had to find a different robot and then go together. And MDH, well, I hope you're doing well, yo. Oh, Stooge did all the idle clicking. That whole section is glorious. Stooge, you did finish it though, right? Because we did that as a full through. Now, Alnus, one of the things that I'd really like to have seen was MechWarrior Online to attempt to do a Battle Royale mode with the idea where you drop a group and you have to get through it like shots, warts and all. That getting stuck into a fight means expending munitions and possibly taking damage. And so avoiding conflict is as valid a strategy as getting stuck in. And Baron Sheep, Watto friend. I was showing off your pins earlier because Mecha Noel hadn't seen them. Take a Gundam, leave a Gundam. Sorry, I wouldn't be able to do the Moon Logic side of the Monkey's Island games because I played them all. And if we did a day on Monkey Island, it would mostly be me going, wait, how did I do this like 20 years ago? Oh, but with a MechWarrior Battle Royale project, I think I'm obsessed with it because I loved MechWarrior 3, which was all about like rebuilding your team in the field, having your little like truck base like stable, clearing out an area, having them come back, reload your weapons, maybe change out your equipment on the fly. Feckin' loved that. Because one of the things that I think about a lot with the Battletech universe is that the reason why giant robots are so cool is they can be deployed for long times, and they have a myriad of different functions, like, you know, scouting, observing, artillery, etc. Most of the games we've had involve a lot of brawling. So, like, here's 5 giant robots versus 5 giant robots. Let's fucking do this. Which Mr. McScans a lot with his radar turrets, kind of like, oh, I guess I'm pretty useless here. I really like the idea of long-form mech games. Stammery says they're currently playing the Uncertain Adventure games, made by a small team who've got some issues, but that just adds to the charm. Hells yeah. And I will definitely agree with Lecter that Moon Logic was one of the great failings of the point-and-click genre, and probably what led to its downfall. A lot of people got into adventure games based on their thematics rather than their creators, and I'm going to use it as a bit of a punching bag. Oh, Cape Horn, thank you kindly for the follow. The Monkey Island games, the Discworld games, which even as a person that knew Discworld, were fecking hard to get through, and it just involved a lot of like pixel hunt moon logic. And I can understand from the creative standpoint where they were trying to use the objects in a humorous way to make you laugh, but instead they just made you sit around and rage. Okie dokie. Baron says, so Magnus Bowl should be ready after tonight. Just to need to make some sample mechs for people that don't want to make their own. Or jump in day of. You feckin' legend. Again, friends, Baron has been putting in so many hours for the Magnus Bowl, Oak Hollow, Memnol Season 2. So, if you see him, buy him a pint. Okay, so MDH, I see what you're going for, and I think it works. With those kind of games, it's more about making it. The actual challenge of having a large enough space with these honking great big robots and how you handle like the netcoding and logistics of that. And Graphite was saying, didn't MechWarrior Online kind of have the scanning and scouting? A little bit. Target locks were denoted across the entire squad, so a fast, quick mech could lock onto a target whilst your long-range missile people just poured it down. Oh, and jumping back, yeah, Katros, Sierra's blatant instant murder traps, like, oh. But I mean, these are things we've learned, like. When Sierra was making these kinds of titles, they were on the forefront of point-and-click adventure stuff, experimenting with ideas. Like the golden glowing eye person that gets you killed in Air Today, Gone Tomorrow. God, the rage was real. So real. And then you learn that if you see the sparkling gold eye, that person's trying to kill you. Making you a little bit more hesitant. But if you've forgotten to save, peace out. We think more now about what the kinds of stories are that we want to tell. Like, is the goal of your point-and-click adventure to tell a story, to unfurl a tale? Or are you trying to challenge someone's problem-solving skills? What are you working for? Ah, yes, Baron, I remember you saying. Baron was saying his brother worked for Sierra for a while. That's where you got that feckin' sweet Half-Life super box, which was all the different colours together. Sorry, Salen's like, I'm kind of glad there isn't a modern arena shooter that invokes Phantom Crash or Sly. Got stuff to do. Well, I mean, that one was fascinating because you could heal a little bit, but it was an arena shooter where people come and go constantly. And the idea that you stay in for as long as you want, but if you get killed, you have to leave with your winnings, otherwise you lose everything, I thought was a fantastic gamble. Mechanol says, I believe they need to play Mech Hack again. It's a tabletop RPG like Lancer. It was a lot simpler. I haven't had the chance to play Lancer yet. I'm just obsessed with it because I love the art style. I'm a big fan of Kill 6 Billion Demons and giant robots, so finding out those two things came together was like... Catros is asking how much longer you got me for? A little bit. How do we get onto pointy clicks? God, I completely lost my train of thought. I mean, we've got to be talking about point and clicks and giant robots like Feck and Yo. Mechanoel, that sounds lovely. Right now, I don't have enough hours in the day. I haven't had the chance to sit down with Baron and talk about what we've got going on this weekend. But I got so much going on today. I'm hoping to get all the... Alright, Baron, Have a wonderful rest of your day, dude. And I will hopefully talk to you later if I get all the VO stuff done and done. Hopefully. I did see that there's a team making like a mech repair management simulator, which I'm very intrigued by. I feel it's going to be trash because I think they're going for kind of like the repair simulator genre, but at least like the idea of it. Huh. You're right, Salem, that is some news. Kate Mulgrew is going to reprise her role as Captain Janeway on Star Trek Prodigy. Huh, very cool. The stories of Kate Mulgrew, God, I almost tripped over it there, are utterly fascinating. Graphites, and they kind of like the idea of a mech game you play as the pit crew. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, okay. Here's the Steam page to the demo. I mean, it's unbranded stuff with a myriad of, like, chunky tank mechs through to more like, you know, slick biomechanical nonsense. But, I don't know. I love the concept. There's something about, maybe it's just the assets they're putting forward that are making me go, Also, whether or not it affects their sales, I don't know. But have any of you all been checking the Steam pages for, like, Devolver games? The, My Friend Pedro Steam page is amazing.
Corgo 4, 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 Corgo 4.
Vanderbeest Feckin, thank you. 200 bits worth of Corgos. I still think that Corgo 4 is the unreleased additional album by One Vanilla Ice. I'm going to stand by that. Catros makes a good point. Have I considered Corgo? I don't know. I've given it some consideration. Certainly. Alright, now the discovery queue's working, like, half an hour after, like, points and stuff and things. Gonna show me the thing? Oh, my feckin' life. Alright, sorry, let me just show you, because we were talking earlier about discoverability on Steam. Now it's feckin' working. My discovery queue. Let's have a look and see what... Hang on. See what wonderful... Are you kidding me? Sorry, it's just giving me games that ask for my age. But it has done Battlefield 4, Mafia Remastered, Phantasy Star 2. Where would I have found all these wonderful indie games? Red Dead 2? Oh, and I can't show that on Twitch. That's just boobs. Boy, sure I'm glad that Red Dead 2 is getting all that support. That plucky indie development team Rockstar. Fuck's sake. Untitled Goose Game. After Boobermageddon in that last one, I'm bloody glad I didn't have that up on screen. Goose Game, boy, that sure is an unknown gem. Okay. Now we're starting to get into something. Medieval Dynasty. Hunt, survive, and build. Hunt, survive, build, and lead in the harsh Middle Ages. Right, all right. So that's a whole thing. I don't trust it to. Yes, continue playing the thing. I don't trust Steam right now. The next one is Grounded. You know, Xbox Game Studio. Horizon Zero Dawn. Great. Discovered. 2 more. Ooh. Okay. Alright, this looks interesting. This looks interesting. John the Pope's like, oh, I have a game we could discover. Give me a sec. Alright, we've got interesting art style. Some curious looking gameplay. Phyllis says they saw a video on Medieval Dynasty. Looked interesting, kind of a combination of city planner and some real-time battle stuff. But rather than a single community, you build several in your realm and have to manage their economies together. Okay, suddenly werewolves. And Varble saying it sounds like it's throwing big games at you to find out what happens if you don't do the discovery queue in a while. Could be, could be. But if you think about how much time I spend on Steam playing games, how many games I have on my account, and how much data Valve have of me, like, the information is there, is available to help the kind of weird indie games that I'm clamoring for, you know? Alright, so this is a Chinese dev studio doing an interesting title. Want to do more look into it. Oh, the next game's Control. I already own that. Why are you recommending it to me? Oh no, because it's the Ultimate Edition. Anyway. I think I know Dreamscaper. Ah, yes. No, I've chatted with the devs on Dreamscaper. I'm just waiting for it to come out of early access. And sorry, that's a question more for Baron and Stars Without Number. Cat people are certainly valid. And just a regular cat could be a challenge, but not impossible. And these are all games I've never heard of, she said, her voice thick with sarcasm. Right? And I understand there's some of the lab features, but they are buried and, you know, your recommended titles on the Steam store page, the ones that get the absolute everything. Like, there used to be a lot of tips and tricks on how one could sell their game on PC. Honestly, if it's on the Steam store page, if it's on the Steam front page, you're good. You're good. Then by the time enough people have looked at it, wishlisted it, and purchased it, the momentum of that carries it forward. Sorry, I must sound very, very bitter this afternoon. I do apologise. Stammering Gamer says, Near Replicant looks good. Wait till you see Shamanfish. Wait, Replicant's the remake, not the mobile side story, right? Oh, Chrono, we were more just discussing earlier, because...
Sorry for not on topic stuffs, but everyone remember you are worth and you are valid. Even if you don't think so, someone would miss you if you weren't here.
Nom Nom, thank you for the $2. Are you okay, friend? Like, sincerely, thank you, but, like... Well... Nom Nom, we got you, friend. I mean, I know sitting here and nattering about how video games get sold on Steam isn't a world-changing, but we got you, and I hope to provide a little bit of caffeinated normality. I like the idea of us all bundled into a tiny coffee shop while it's raining like heck outside and debating the back and forth of, like, how we make video games sell well. So, we got you. We got you. Chrono, what ho, friend? We've just been chatting video game stuff. I need to do a bunch of recording things today. So I'm putting Ever Forward on hold again. As Raid said, Ever Forward is the new placeholder. And we've chatted about a myriad of different stuff. Stammering Gamer says they've been recommended a Vampire the Masquerade text-based adventure. Is that the something of New York? And there's a lot of those that have been dancing left, right, and forward. Earl Koenig is saying, is it Coteries of New York? Oh, feels like when the world's not on fire again, we're absolutely going to do that. Nom Nom, your intent is lovely, and I want to say thank you for that. And we do. Like, yes, we stole it from a song from Warframe, and I'm not sorry, because we're Vikings. That's what we do. But we do. We're all in this together. That's how we get it done. You know? Some days you feel like an invincible killing machine, and some days you feel like a tiny scared rabbit who is scared of other rabbits. And both are alright. Both are alright. Oh, Stammering Gamer, thank you kindly. I try. Like, I have no formal qualifications in the matters, and I do my best to facilitate good banter. But also, there's loads of people on the longship, like Tal, whose birthday it is. Is Tal still here? Have we mentioned Tal's birthday in the last 5 minutes? I'm abusing my powers because Ray already ratted him out that it's his birthday on the longship, so we've been having a lot of fun with that. Like, Tal's been organising and running the group Arc server, which has been doing real well. Like, prior to that, we have Moose was doing his coffee evenings. Like, people just wanted to hang out. We've got a bunch of good peoples, and it's real good, yo. Graphite's like, I'll make you suffer for this, right? I'm like, okay, yes. But sometimes you gotta take the wins while you get them. I have very little regard for my own safety. This has been demonstrated. Oh. Although, I will say that even from the discussions we were having earlier, when someone does ask me to recommend them a game, I always take that as a big old compliment. And I try and take a real pride in recommending something that will have some weight to it. That will do some good, you know? Whoa. Like, Nom Nom, I'm not gonna lie to you, that sucks. And I am sorry for you, friend. Like, you're gonna have us digitally. Like, we're here for you. We'll get in some games, we'll hang out. So it's the day after tomorrow. So that's Saturday. Well, Saturday, we're gonna get the longship together and crash giant robots against one another. So that's going to be fun. Have me and, well, it'll be a lot of me getting very overexcited. Baron cackling maniacally. But we got you, yo. We got you. This year has been unlike any in recent memory. And, like, I gotta commend all of you for, like, we're surviving. We're doing this. Like, it turns out we were all a lot tougher than we thought we were. And I'm not celebrating all the bad, but, yo, celebrate the fact that you're doing it. And it also means that you can guilt your family members into throwing you a big party next year. As a side, sorry, did you look to see what depth was? Sorry, Asari is suggesting spooky alerts when we do play depth this month. Right, you did look at what that is. Yeah, Jaralan. Whoa, it's, you know, you're in charge of your good self. But when you subscribe to this channel, you do enter into a necromancy clause, and I reserve the right to to bring people back. Night Valen's like, Depth is a sheep herding co-op simulator, right? Yeah. Only the sheep are people. Stammering Gamer's like, I'm sorry, what? No, just don't pay any attention to it. Don't pay any attention to it. Necromancy clause. Sorry, what? I didn't. Did you hear anything? Fiona, did you hear anything?
What?
Exactly. Fiona didn't hear anything.
You just heard me come in here. That's not fair. River.
Hey, Soma Pills. What, ho, friend? It's not a cult. Stammering Gamer, it's not a cult. How are you doing, Soma? Yeah, Team Toadhouse is like, that's why we signed up for the long ship. Trauger in training. Oh. Well, Nom Nom also has another suggestion, like, the Discord screen share works really well. And, you know, having a little, like digital Animu house party is still viable. Bunny Bailey's like, I heard the Queen! Fiona looks like she's in making stuff happen mode, so I'm not gonna steal her away. Guinea Pig Nation is being planned. Oh, Soma's been doing Discord screen share. Raised by Wolves, baby! Soma, that looks so good. I will admit, I've mostly been using, like, most TV has been dumb TV to kind of turn off. But, like, I've been watching The Boys, and I watched the American remake of Utopia, which wasn't great, but finding out that there's a better British series, which I'm now trying to track down, which, by the way, is much harder than anticipated. That was real good. Been binging a lot of Animu. Yeah. And Nom Nom, I hope you don't think that I'm making light of it. I know how lucky I am that with lockdown, like, I got stuck with someone, so like I can get a hug and human contact. But our dear friend Lady Lecter has gone through a very similar thing, and like, yeah, you ain't on your own. We got you. We got you. And sorry, you're right. Jumping back, sometimes we need some trash telly. That's all right. It's weird that, like, I will throw myself into a game that may be emotionally or mentally taxing without a second thought. But if it comes to telly, I'm like, I know it's good, but I'm gonna have to think. Thinking is lame. It takes so much effort. Yeah, Nom Nom, I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Oh, I feel like, I don't know. I know I whinge about being busy, but I'm glad that I am. I'm glad that I can be here, help people, chat banter, talk about stuff. I'm happy to be the support structure or the distraction. I'm happy to be your digital drinking buddy or the Egypt with a hangover the next morning. I've been able to do so much, and I know I'm lucky to do that, and I hope, yeah, that's what I hope. Oh, Varbles, I'm so sorry, friend. But I will say this, like, friends, we're all gonna get through this. It's not gonna be easy. It's probably gonna be a whole heap and heck of nonsense. However, in a couple of years, it's gonna make for great pub stories. Like, friends, in the future, you're gonna be telling Green Beans what it was like, and they'll be like, wait, got stuck inside for like a year. Be like, well, you know, made a lot of sourdough, got a lot more pets. None of us will come out of this with boring stories. Oh, Stammering Gamer says 5 words, The Money Heist on Netflix. Is it good? A friend of mine has been working on some of the stuff around that, but I haven't had a chance to give it a setup. Oh yeah, no, so Geraldine, Hugbot has been in effect. The Domo I inherited, Hugbot's there. Temp Fox is having a snooze because we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And we're basically into a 2-person shift. Like, I work the day shift, Temp Fox is working the night shift. All the little tiny woms, like, friends, all of the stuff we get, like the tiny backpack, the wooden fists to make up for when I broke my hand, bottle of mead, the weird, like, I know it's a little selfish to have some of the stuff on this side of the camera where you can't see it, but I need it there. Like, it's for me. Stu's like, speak for yourself. Oh, Bunny Belly, Domo is awesome, hands down. My mate and I once got very drunk in Camden and took Domo on an adventure.
Who wants to sing?
Got his ear pierced and everything. Thank you, Fiona! Like, Soma Pills, the next sober meet that we go to, oh my word. Because I missed the last one, because I got too drunk. The night before it...
You all are so good to me. Thank you. When this is all over and we have long con, you'll get the snacks. Hugs all around.
Hells to the hell yes. And Dom Dom, thank you for that. Like, I'm under no illusions. You all yeet bits and money, and that is keeping us alive. That's why I want to try so hard to be here for everybody, because you lot are keeping me going through all this. Like, I don't know what I would be like if I didn't have you lot right now. And the great thing is my brain can't make me think about it. But, like, sincerely thank you. I do mean that. Back in yo. Like, thank you for the $10, friend. Thank you. So Bunny Bailey says, did you ever shop in Game Station in Camden? No! I kept meaning to go there, but I did used to do the import store just up of Tottenham Court and the CEX there, which used to be the famous one because, like, it used to have a great collection, but it was also close to all the future publishing offices, so you could get all the press copies early before they were released. I fucking loved that. Okay, Stooge, I think you're right. I would be a gibbering mess. I would have been also completely nocturnal. Oh, Bunny Bailey, you worked there. Game Station represent. I worked at Game Station Staines for a while. After the recession hit, I lost my job in telly. I couldn't find any other work. And so what I used to do is I had this routine where I'd go and get a dirt cheap, like, you know, one of the drip coffees from Starbucks in Staines. And then I'd apply to all the jobs that I could, and then I'd just mooch in the local store. A local manager was like, look, you need work, right? I was like, yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you an interview. Because at this point, I either have to hire you or put out a feckin' bedroll under the Wii section. Because it was getting to the point. I was there so much. I'm just mooching and, like, recommending people games. Ah, I loved that job. It paid absolutely nothing. And it was, like, the working conditions weren't easy. Like, especially during... None of you need me to tell you that working retail during holidays is very hard bad. But during the calm times, friends, there's this wonderful thing about being games retail where if someone buys a game and they love it, they will come back and thank you. As if you somehow had a hand in this, you know, this copy of Halo Reach that they purchased. And if they buy a game and don't like it, they come back and return it. But they never hate you because of a bad game. Ah. Yeah, Bunny Bailey, so agree. The company was arse, but... yeah. Gerald's like, the memories. 1,000-yard stare. Sounds of explosions and screaming and gunfire. Bacon Avenger did their time in retail. 5 long years. Never again if I can help it. I mean, I pulled more pints than I spent time in, like, games retail. And the world of video games retail is very different. Like, here in, like, cities like Seattle, there are some independent game shops that are real cool. Benny Bailey has also worked at Gas Hats. But that's another time. Yeah. Well, I was there as the acquisition was happening, but before they merged games... I was gone before they merged GameStation and Game together. So, fucking hell, yeah. I mean, I still have my regrets. I regret not getting a full mech controller setup for Steel Battalion OG. But since then, like, thanks to places like PAX and GDC, I've been able to play it again, so that's been cool. Shackled in a year at Blockbuster. Whoa. We're just invoking the old names now. Friends, video game industry court be damned. We're just reminiscing. I'm not complaining. So Shackled did a year at Blockbuster, a Christmas season at Best Buy, in digital cameras, and a year at Arby's. They've done the full complement of crap customer service classes. No, Salen is not... Okay, so I looked over to the other screen, and I don't tend to keep an eye on Discord and stuff, because I don't like getting distracted when I'm talking to you lot, because I'm talking to you lot. And I see a message, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's the VO stuff. Maybe like the... Because if they change the recording day, then we'd get into a game or what have you. And you know what? Let's see if I can pull it up large. I just got sent this by Sadlin. Now, tell me, was I correct in informing Sadlin that he should immediately go to jail? I feel I was justified. Oh, and Thelmsby, thank you for the reminder. Feck, for all the jibber jabber from today about Outer Wilds is on sale now. No, not Older Wilds, Outer Wilds. And it's still not on feckin' humble. Oh, Kisa says Salen's right. Kisa, why did you betray me like this? You're supposed to be the chosen one. You're supposed to bring balance to the force. Aww. McSwaggins is saying their first kid, Annabella, is finally starting school next month. Yay! J-Po says the only customer-centric job they had was an ice cream shop back in school and a Staples. Okay. God, what did I do? I pulled pints. Mostly for like Young's pubs, which are like ale houses. But not like good, but like chain. Not quite Weatherspoon's dirty, but not like a classy establishment. I worked in a suit hire retail place. Fucking nom nom! Please, Outer Wild was my father. Just call me Outer. Feck. Asari did 10 years in catering. Dang. Oh, 0-hour contracts. Haunting. Did that as a QA. Jaralan served at Walmart. Fearless says, you can't go to the store I used to work because it no longer exists. Do you mean like Shutdown doesn't exist or like Alternate Dimension doesn't exist? Oh, and Bunny was swapped from Game Station to Game to Gay Station a week before the merge. I'm so sorry. But they used to share staff around regions so much. Like the Stain, because we had Staines, Hounslow, and something else. Now, I feel I can say this, it's been long enough. There was a Game Station, which if you don't know, Game Station was a video games retailer in the UK primarily focusing on secondhand video games, much like CEX. Now, the Game Station in Hounslow was famous for having really good high-quality games in very good condition. Because the crime rate in Hounslow was very high. Oh yeah, no, Bunny Bailey, Game Station with the retro guards. Like, when they made this, when they did the merge with, when they did the buyout with Game and they moved the tills to the same system, a bunch of retro stuff suddenly couldn't be sold because it was off the dock. And again, I won't say where it was held or who was involved, but we had an underground auction of retro games. Like, I got a whole bunch of, like, the rare Game Boys, like the Game Boy Pocket. Not the Game Boy Color, but the smaller black and white one. I didn't manage to get the Famitsu Game Boy. I got outbid on that one. But it was like this one part nerdy charity auction, like one part, like, underground market. Like, I don't know, it felt like the convention equivalent of the night market from not the night market. Oh, what's it called? The market from Neverwhere. All right, well, I'll remember that later. Yeah, Bunny Bailey, I got so many gems there. I will also say, like, props to CEX because the floating market. Thank you, Alnus. Props to CEX because the amount of times where the staff there have been more lovely than the system. Like, I had to clear out a bunch of stuff when I was moving out here, and the guy behind the counter bought a bunch of games off me directly because they were going to trade in for a single £1, and he was like, look, whether I play this or whether I sell this, I'm going to make a lot more money on it. So, like, my system's offering me £1, I'll give you 20. And these were for some, like, mint PS1 games. I'm still real happy about that. Oh, Swaggins remembers one of those happening at the Game Station near Stirling University. It makes me feel real, like, warm and fuzzy to know that that wasn't just our little store, that happened around. That's real cool. And Chrono, what-ho? We're just having ourselves a little chatting afternoon. Stammering Gamer now works in a dessert restaurant. And get told that they're a jerk because they have to wear a mask. Humans. Waste. Like, a Stammering Gamer, you'll tell people about this in years to come. People just joining, like, the service industry for the first time. And they'll be like, I'm sorry, what? Half a charm. On my sandwich. I'd forgotten about food eating. I got a sarnie. Yay! YOLO says that they got a copy of Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8 for £25. That's not bad. Oh, Stammering Gamer's like, still not as bad as Spoons. It's like my Vietnam. Oh. I have the utmost respect for people who have done a tour of service at Spoons. Because that is like, you know, seeing the darkness. Lordy, lordy. I mean, I'm hoping that one of the... Oh, and feelers, I haven't got anywhere to put the steel battalion set up. And the amount it would take to get a stream of it is something that requires a whole heap of planning. But thank you kindly for the offer. Geraldine saying, honestly, well, part of me worries that without Fiona, or Ket, or Gameworks, you'd forget to eat and die. I wouldn't die. Only the good die young. I have been very thin in the past. It's been weird, like, now that I've actually got some weight on me and I start to look more like a regular human, I look back on old photos and I'm like, cool, I look like a bone structure wrapped in cling film. Sandwich. Oh, hell. Swaggins has said that before their IT job, they worked at a Spoons. Sorry, I should explain some of these terminologies. Friends, Spoons, short for Weatherspoons, is a chain pub in the UK. And Erin, I'm real glad you're doing that with the crew. But that is when me and Kyle are doing the Blackout Club. Yo. Sorry, yeah, but Weatherspoons is infamous for being dirt cheap and being a centre of a lot of mischief. Oh. And Geraldine, I don't want to go into the general back and forth as to why Weatherspoons is a terrible company. Just know that for most towns and high streets, it's like a teeny tiny Tatooine. It is a veritable den of scum and villainy and very cheap beer. It's affordable. It's always got that going for it. Reheated foodstuffs. I mean, if you need to fill your belly on a budget, it's not the worst you can do, but it's not a good place. Yeah, Alnus, that's the best way to put it. No one is ever happy that you're going to a Spoons. You'll enjoy your friends you meet there, and you'll save a few quid, but honestly, you can always do better. Geraldine makes a good point. Drinking from the Thames is affordable. Doesn't make it a good idea. So I think we've... Oh, Bunny Bailey. Just good old meat and cheese. Good meat, good cheese. Remembering to line my stomach. I am real bad for forgetting to eat. This is something that has... Wait, what? Somebody sent something to the UPS store. Something at the PO box. Interesting. I'll look at that in a second. So... McSwaggon's saying in Hull there's a place we called Old Town, and it has many different and unique pubs and clubs. Probably one of the best places I've been on a night out. The best place I've ever been out on a night out. Mildly confused.
Fekete Testuge may be right as Weatherspoons British Denny's.
You need a lot more fights. Like a lot more fights. I don't know, like, to get into the meta of Wetherspoons. Oh, so Yolo was saying that Newcastle is close. Okay. Do they serve booze at Denny's? I've never known people go to Denny's for a piss up. Oh yeah, Katros. We have been doing like the... Like, we have been doing the super duper multi-track initial D drifting of conversations today. And you know what? I'm down for it. Sailor saying, Stooge said it's more of an end of the night stop. Oh no, Wetherspoons is where you start the night. Oh, okay, Spoons can be where you finish the night, but that's usually because someone punched you in the gob and you got thrown out. Oh, and Miyaki Sakura, good afternoon, Wato. How are you doing? We're trying to work out if mathematically Wetherspoons and Denny's occupy the same class. Aldous is like, right, is there a guy in the core of Denny's who will glass you, hug you and call you his best friend, or C, open his shell suit to show you his wider range of squirrels he has to sell? Do you have a gentleman walking around that doesn't speak English, trying to sell you knockoff DVDs? Mostly of the adult variety. I never got used to that. Wait, Volkswagens is saying Taco Bell have started serving beer in the UK. Why does that feel like it's better? Okay. You know what? I think we should pull back from this conversation. Is that no one's ready for stories of Wetherspoons at like 3 o'clock on a frickin' Thursday afternoon. Oh, lordy. But just know, Wetherspoons, I don't know if Wetherspoons are ever made. They just seem to be. I don't know if the world brings them into being. I don't know if they're a testament to our sins. But they exist outside of space and logic. But I'll tell you one thing. I've had good food at Denny's. Oh, and Nom Nom is saying, same with McDonald's and IKEA. I honestly believe that IKEA is the creation of some alien race, and they're gonna pop up in a few years and be like, all right, we're taking over, and I'd be like, cool, great. I, for one, support Planet IKEA. So Nom Nom says, have you ever seen them being built? No, I have never ever seen an IKEA being constructed. And the outside of them looks the same, regardless of where you are on the planet. Just saying, I'm just saying. And Gerald's like, glory to the IKEAns! You know, that's got some weight. Oh, and then said, I'm gonna build that in Stellaris now. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Oh, yeah. No, Stammering Gamer, hiring someone who has worked at a Wetherspoons for a year or longer, it's like hiring a member of the SAS. You know they've seen stuff. You know they've seen the fire and the fury. They can handle themselves under
Who
pressure.
wants to sing?
Like Cryostix, thank you kindly for the host. You know, there's stuff they've seen they'll never be able to tell you about, but they've seen it. They've lived it. McDragon's also urging. There's another place in Hull called Spiders, which I've actually heard of. I've never been to. It was opened by a granddad's brother in the 60s. It plays alternative music, and literally anyone who goes there, it's like its own little community. Super feckin' friendly there. I mean, heck yeah. There was this gaff in Hounslow that they turned into a metal club every Saturday night called The Pit. And I knew everybody there. The bouncers were incredible. Not for keeping people out, but for keeping shitheads out. There was never a scuffle in there. No one was ever like getting... The only thing that would happen is people would have too much fun and get a bit too drunk. And then be having a little drunken snooze in the corner. But... yeah. Telling all these horror stories, like, the Pit shaped a large proportion of my 20s. Stammering Gamer, no! That is the most Spoonsian thing. Stammering Gamer saying, and this is from Weatherspoons, one time they caught a regular peeing in his seat. This regular then told Stammering Gamer to feck off because they had barred him. He sticks in the mind. You're barred! There was a little thing they had in Horsham, which was like, if you're banned from one pub, you're banned from them all. Which no one really took seriously until they realised that getting banned from the Weatherspoons in Horsham would carry some consequence. Oh, we're cool. So, Sorry was saying there's a pub they go to sometimes on the top of a mountain called The Keepers. Lovely. And Cryosticks was saying there's a steampunk bar in Helsinki called Steam Helsinki with 2 L's. It's a cool place. Come with a quiet drinking day to chill and busy evening to have a good time. That sounds rad. There used to be a gaff in Horsham called The Dead Parrot, and it was a steampunk cocktail bar, and God, we had so much fun in there. It was real small, so it didn't get too packed out, but the amount of time that myself and my buddy Christian spent there, they knew us. We did several lock-ins in there. Oh, it was so good. I know that they do happen in the US, they're just not as frequent. Lock-ins are a great English tradition. Sadlin saying that I would have enjoyed Dante's in Seattle. Enjoyed that mess of a bar. Most likely. And then Aberios is adding that I would have dug the Knock Knock as well. Interesting. Well, I only realised recently that El Corazon is like a super, like, old school venue. There's still so much about this city that I do not know. And that makes me happy. There's a certain level of cynicism around, especially central London. Unless you're asking someone, can you recommend me a good place? And I don't feel that here, which is real cool. Alice is like, lock-ins are not a great English tradition and you don't want to stick around after last orders. Nudge, nudge. Yeah, no, you're right. Lock-ins are not a thing that happens in the Britons, and I must be very mistaken. Guess that just happens. Oh, look, my sandwich. And just as an aside, Yola was saying, and this is the tamest spoon story they have to tell us, that they once caught someone taking apart the seats to find their drink. so they took him aside to show them the empty glass on the table, and deemed they had had too much to drink and kicked him out. Little did they know it was a Weatherspoons executive that got us all fired. I have never been so drunk I couldn't find my drink. I don't know if that's like a sixth sense or something. Oh, dear lordy. Oh, okay. Dante's was 4 distinct bars in one place. Front had a giant table that was like a raw edge crosscut of a tree and a fireplace. Then classic dive bar with square and wire chairs and booths. That sounds fucking cool. I mean, I really enjoy Vidiot here in Seattle, which is 1 part 90s bedroom, 1 part arcade bar, 1 part pirate ship, with a smidging of pinball just thrown in for good measure. God. I feel like I've flashbacks of the darkness from all these Weatherspoon stories, let me tell you, friends. Oh, lordy, lordy. Aperio says Vidiot closed. No! P-bags! God damn it! Butts. Oh, and Starring Game is saying, the staff lock-ins never ever happened. After we closed on Christmas Eve, we didn't leave at 4 AM drunk, and I didn't leave the pub keys at the door. God. Because I worked for a Young's pub. We weren't allowed to drink on the job. Oh, Legend of Link, good afternoon to you. We weren't allowed to drink on the job, so if someone bought you a pint, you could have it at the end of your shift. But I commonly was one of the people that worked until closing. So I'd finish up, and I had like 4 pints in the tap, and I was like, guess we're having ourselves a little drink. I staggered home so many times. Oh no! Zaidlin was saying that Dante's, the bar he was talking about, had a $3 call it a special on Sundays, and ultimately it burnt down. But no! And Perry says a video has a GoFundMe on the website to reopen. That is dire. No. I feel like I need to say, even after all this time, to Imperius and Sabin, like, I'm sorry for the loss of your bar. But we'll always have Georgetown. We'll always have Georgetown. Oh. Alnus, no! Oh, because Imperius was saying they'll never get over the fact that a bar called Dante's, as in Dante's Inferno, burnt down. You're right, they were kind of asking for it. Oh no! Stooge, was that the place that we went to? Oh dude, I'm so sorry. I mean, it was a bowling alley, true to the name, but the gin was cheap and it wasn't bad. And the lanes did bowl. Oh, so it was a place up in Everett. Okay. I mean, we could always go back up to Capitol Hill when that's open up again. Bowl there. Sorry, for those of you that don't know, after, I want to say it was after Sober, but it was definitely after GameWorks. We went to a bowling bar up in Capitol Hill. And it was like, the lanes were wobbly, the balls were nonsense, the shoes were weird. Hey, Jess! What, oh friend? How are you doing? And we were playing terrible bowling on terrible bowling lanes, but by sheer coincidence and luck, I managed to win, not realizing that both our friendly neighborhood Lucifer and Stooge do bowl properly. And I spent the next few weeks bragging about this victory to great effect. Legend of Link saying, they don't know if anyone's been down there to Winnipeg, but they have a place in the downtown core called The Forks, with craft beer in the middle, like little food court restaurants. Okay. Shackle's saying they are genuinely relieved that the awesome diner near them has opened up recently. Yeah, there's a few places here that like distance seating and like scrub downs. Oh no! Perios is like, so Twitch chat's being weird today. Suddenly can't see any chat on their end. Oh no! Oh, see, YOLO, that's the goal. YOLO Swaggin's saying that they bought out their place in London and have spent years installing taps and fridges to make the living room into a pub. Fucking yeah. The TSCTH, what ho? It's barely October, why are you like this? How are you doing? And just, that's real good to hear, friend. That's real good to hear. I gotta do a bunch of voiced-over-y nonsense later today. So I'm just having a little totter about, sipping on a coffee, just chatting with these lovely folks. We got onto the stories of Weatherspoons and varying bars and... yeah. Oh, and Imperius, yeah, I'm still super glad we have vets. North Star down the road's doing okay. They managed to survive. And that place has saved many a life. There are quite a few... Horcrux of several friends down in that place, let me tell you. Salem, you make a good point. The fact that you can't walk there from the convention center is definitely a deductible. Yes. So Leisure Link, I got asked to do some voice stuff for a video game. I haven't been able to announce what it is yet, or the role that I'm playing, but it's a proper role. I'm doing it with another voice actor, chatting back and forth. And hopefully, if I'm good enough, I can get it all done tonight. Hopefully. So, yeah. But I wanted to come hang out with you lot. See, Salem, I don't know if it's from yourself or from other convention goers, but I heard about the hurricane being similar to Beth's and walking distance from the convention center. Like, so sad. Oh no! Sorry was saying that there was a pub called Three Salmons that they liked, which was very good. It's flooded twice. Feck. Okay, McSwaggins. Now you're just doing a flex. McSwaggin's saying they actually managed to get one of the proper, like the little soda stream guns. TSCTH is asking if the video game is House Party, the one that the Grumps are in. I cannot tell you what game it is, but I can assure you I will not be doing voice acting for House Party. Though it was weird when we did the Sonic Racing Day, of hearing myself yelling back to myself, like that was surreal. That was very surreal. Oh. So I tell you what, you lovely Mother Hubbards, we are spoilt for good friends to head on over to, because I need to get all the soundproofing set up, turn this into a little booth. Perio's saying, Dream Daddy 2. Sorry if the leak, Will, you can tell him I did it. Shh. Oh my god. And Jester say, she was saying that we're getting 20 questions for you for your the role. That won't get you any trouble. It absolutely will. Alright. Okay. So, dear friends, I'm going to pass you on to one of the other illustrious individuals streaming at the moment. because I need to getting stuff set up. I do want to say thank you all for hanging out and chatting. I do hope you've all had a good little morning with me here. I fucking love chatting with you lot, and yeah, continues to be a glorious little day. Almas with Will's under for NDA. Also actual NDA. Well, this was glorious, but we'll do quick credits in a second. But as a thought, do you fancy a bit of the Stumble Chums? Some spooky ghost nonsense. Or some Dying Light. Anna says they're up for some trip chaps. Lovely. Oh no, Caffeine, I was just about to throw everybody over. Well, I'm going to do credits, then throw everybody over, because I've got to get all that voice nonsense done. I'm going to do them speaky word likes. I'm going to do all them speaky voice noises. So friends, tomorrow's a Blackout Club, so come on by. I'll be joined by Kyle, maybe some more peeps, who knows. The gods are out again, so feckin' yo. But first up, so Nom Nom Fighter, thank you kindly for the cash, and I do hope you feel better, dear friend. Those of you that throw bits know that's what keeps us alive. So to Katros Tarlicus, Vanderbeest Fearless Son, Shackle to Connus Bacon Avenger, Asari Green Firestopposaurus, and the League of Anonymous Spooky Ghosts, I say thank you. Happy birthday again to Tal. But also thank yous to Moose, Lizzie, and Caffeine for being our best little mod team. To Cape Horn and the Axiom Research Solutions, thank you for the follow. And to Erin, Cause I'm Dan Jones, and Jaralan, feckin' thank you all. Because those were some big old sprees, yo. Oh, Yolo says they're going to join us tomorrow for some of their craziest spoon stories. Okay. Well, I tell you what, friends. Friend of the channel, musical hero and ledge, Megaran is currently having a crack at some of them Stumble Chums in the new variant. So, let's head on over there now, yell some support with some squeaky bean peoples, and see how this mischief unfurls. Yes, and indeed, Miyake Sakura. But no, seriously, I hope you all had a decent morning and a coffee chat. I love talking to you lot, so obviously I had a good time. Back in yo. Yeah, you know what, Katros? I shall do all the words. And then when I am done, I will exhaustedly complain about it on the Discord. So friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for coming to hang out. And I'll see you lovely Mother Hobbits later.